It has been almost 3 years since Matthew Stafford walked away from the Detroit Lions and was traded to the LA Rams, and almost 2 since he got his Super Bowl win his first year removed from the Detroit Lions. And we've discussed the departure of LOL, a change in the culture with not only from Martha coming in, or I'm sorry, from Sheila coming in, hiring the right guys, those guys, then trading Matthew Stafford, being willing to part ways with him, because I feel for years, ever since he was drafted, that was the Detroit Lions' problem. They didn't want to part ways with people. Same thing with Calvin Johnson. Came out that Calvin Johnson wanted to be traded to the Patriots. I don't know how true that is, but never happened. Never happened. So there's been so much attachment to oldness and the past. And Matthew Stafford is one of those. Now, you guys know how I felt about Matthew Stafford, this whole championship thing, this going on the run, going from obscurity with the Detroit Lions to the NFL's poster boy. Even though Patrick Mahomes is the golden child, him at this moment, you still had, you threw Stafford in there. Oh, he came from this dump, a city that's never won anything. And again, my issue was never with Stafford. It was, I take that back. It had a little bit to do with Stafford, but it was more about what was going to happen with the city. And I even said at the end of the 2021 season that if Matthew Stafford winning a Super Bowl means that my team gets turned around, I'll take that. I'll take that on the chin and take that as painful as it was to see him in the media, something he never really did here, to be be interviewed by everybody. Oh, you left that dump. You escaped the, Alcatraz. That's what this was about for me. But anyway, why am I talking about this? Because I know some of you guys are still attached. And even if you weren't, they have a fantastic show produced by Peyton Manning, Omaha Productions, on Netflix called Quarterback. And it was probably the greatest watch of the summer. You got to see from the upper echelon quarterback in Patrick Mahomes to a mid-tier quarterback with Kirk Cousins, and then a journeyman in Marcus Mariota. And it was great to see like a behind the scenes of not only their life, but on game day and how they prep and recover from injury. Well, your former quarterback, Matthew Stafford, is reportedly going to be in season 2 of Netflix's Quarterback. And we've seen throughout the summer that a lot of quarterbacks has been coming out that they've turned it down. I didn't even know until just recently that Jared Goff turned it down, but I do believe there's been 2 announcements. Joe Burrow has been announced and Jared Goff, and my new quarterback, Matthew Stafford. And there's one more. So you have it looks like it's probably going to be a superstar, like a bona fide superstar. And then, not to say Matthew Stafford is mid-tier, because I think he's a little bit above that, even at 35 years old, but kind of like that in-between quarterback, and then somebody who's on the lower end. So it could be a backup or something like that. So reportedly, Jared Goff turned it down. He was on, I think 97 won a ticket, and here's what he had to say. Now, I would have loved Jared Goff to be on quarterback just to kind of see behind the scenes, kind of like Hard Knocks Part 2. This coming from Pride of Detroit. Says, I really don't know if it's as distracting as people may think, the way that they do it, but just wasn't the right fit for me this year. Goff said maybe one day, and he's referring to him turning down the show Netflix. I thought it might have been interesting because I don't know if Jared Goff gets married this year, but it probably would chronicle this season. And I want to say it went all the way up to like OTAs when they report in May. So, and then they prep it, get it out in July, and we would have seen that. But Matthew Stafford will be reportedly on the second season of Quarterback. And I'm going to watch it anyway, whether it was Matthew Stafford, whether he won the Super Bowl or didn't. But I'm curious to know how you feel. How do you feel? Matthew Stafford, I'm at peace with the whole thing because I really believe that him getting traded, it like we talked about in today's earlier video, it really started with the hiring when Sheila took over for her mom. That's when it started. Then we sat there and the open letter to fans. You guys remember that when we went 3-12 and 1 in that 2019 season. She put out an open letter to fans and said, hey, you deserve better. We deserve better. We're going to get you better. We expect to be playing competitive football in December. And I specifically remember saying there's no way she's going to back this up. I don't believe anything she's saying in this letter. I mocked and ridiculed this letter. The next thing I know, Matt Patricia's fired. The guy who hired him is fired. Matthew Stafford is traded. We bring the guys in. One of the first thing they do is trade Matthew Stafford, is allow him to go. And from that point, we have created the team that we have now. So I'm very interested in kind of seeing behind the scenes with Kelly and all that. We know about her and Kelly and all of that stuff and that document, but I'm at peace with that whole Matthew Stafford thing. But how are you? Are you intrigued to see? Because Matthew's a very private guy. He doesn't have Twitter, I don't believe. He's not on social media. His wife does all that stuff for him. But to see, the most we ever saw from them was basically when he exited, right? So this is going to be intriguing. I'm going to watch it because I'm going to watch it regardless. But those of you who still have some form of connection to Matthew Stafford, are you excited about this? How do you feel? And I wanted to talk about it. I was like, you know what? Matthew Stafford is still kind of a big deal in this city and to some people. He is my former quarterback. I appreciate what he did here. The show is the show. I would watch it if Jameis Winston was on it or Ryan Tannehill was on it, or it doesn't matter who's on it. I'm going to watch it. It was fantastic. One of the best sports shows, in my opinion, that I've seen. And I binge watched it. I couldn't turn it off. It was fantastic. And all I could say was, man, I would love to see Jared Goff on this show. But are you going to watch? And how invested do you think you're going to be in Matthew Stafford in the second season of quarterback? But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget about the live stream watch party. Trying to pump this as much as I can because we are on the home stretch here. 30 people so far. And we're going to, I found out today that the hotel is going to do some flyers. They're going to pass stuff out and say, hey, you want to come, you want to come, you want to come. So we might not wind up having those tickets after all. So if you want to come and if you're going to the game, go to the game. Cause I'm like, man, I kind of wish I planned this when they did an away game. And I think the next time they already have a second day booked that they want me to come. It is a home game. Is it? It might not be. I'm not going to tell you because I'll tell you later, but it is in the middle of November. I'll put it like that. You know what? I'll tell you. It's the 19th. They want us to come back on the 19th. I don't know if that's a home game or an away, but if it's an away game, I would expect us to sell out. No problem. But 30 people on an opening thing look, if it would have been 3 people, I wouldn't have cared as long as it is somebody showed up, man, because that would have just been like, oh my God. But anyway, hopefully I'll see you then. And, I'm so excited, man. It feels like it's been forever since we watched our team play, and we get to see the Vikings potentially probably get beat up tomorrow. So that should be fun. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.